Joining us now to discuss all of this is Maryland Governor Wes Moore. He's in Milwaukee, where he has been campaigning for President Biden's re-election this weekend. Welcome back, Governor.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you.
Governor, it wasn't a good night for the president. And I'll save us time because I know you're going to tell us, look at presidential performance, not debate performance. Everyone has a bad night. Barack Obama once had a bad night. But at 81 years old, this is a different set of factors for President Biden. Why was he struggling Thursday?
Well, I think both candidates struggled. I don't think either candidate had a.
No. One person had the worst performance of anyone ever in a presidential debate. And that person is the guy you're out campaigning for in Milwaukee right now. She said, don't come with the nonsense up in here. We smacking that out of here. Don't come here talking about, he just had a bad day. Let's look at what he did 3 years ago. Let's look at the State of the Union. No, Let's focus on this night, his performance, and what that says.
A very good night on the debate night. But I also do know that it does matter when we're looking at presidential performance and not necessarily debate performance.
But respectfully, Governor, the president doesn't do many interviews. He doesn't do things where we have to see him be quick on his feet. He's not here. You are.
Well,
He's not on the campaign trail as often as surrogates like you are. Isn't that demonstrating that there are alternatives, democratic alternatives, who are younger and able to go out and be quick on their feet and on the trail?
I know I got a chance to see the president when times were difficult and see him in trials. And I've seen him being able to be a remarkable partner to us.
Man, I don't care what you saw. We care what we saw. He got that Obama stutter. I'm lying to you right now. See what I'm saying? I don't trust him, man. I do not trust this. I get Wes Moore can't be like, hey, pick me. You know what I'm saying? I'm really the guy. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, sis, saying all those kind of things. You're right. He need to sit his old ass down and put me in. You know what I'm saying? That'll play. I know he can't say that, but this ain't gonna be an easy interview where you get to throw up talking points and tiptoe out the door. Man, people wondering who's running America because the daggone sure ain't Biden. That they do know, all right? We don't care what you saw that you have no proof of. We don't care what you heard. We don't care about the funny feelings you have in your gut or when your knee starts itching or your chin starts scratching or whatever, man. I want to know what we saw. Why did we see that? All right. That's what Americans want to know.
And that's what I remember, and that's why I continue to believe that the Biden administration deserves another 4 years, and I'm excited about what that can deliver for the American people.
Let's bring back the Wes Moore video, and I want to talk about something Wes Moore says here that I've heard repeated by Claiborne, and I've heard repeated by Biden.
We're growing back black wealth, but we have a lot more to do. The racial wealth gap is the smallest it's been in 20 years under my watch.
Very misleading, and it's misleading on purpose.
But the Atlanta Journal and Constitution in Georgia, a key state for the president, came out in an editorial saying this wasn't a bad night. It was a confirmation of the worst fears of some of Biden's most ardent supporters. Age has finally caught up to him. It referred to excuses like what you're making as insulting to the American people. How do you respond to that?
I think that what we are watching, when you're watching a presidential performance, when you're watching a president who's able to lead us to now where we have record low unemployments, when we're able to watch how the black wealth inside of this country since the pandemic has risen by 60%.
Now, this is what I want particularly my black viewers to take note of, right? Fam, I want y'all to see what he did here. She was saying, she put him on the hot seat. She says, hey, people are saying you're being disingenuous when people make these excuses for Biden. People are saying this is hypocritical. What did he do? He went to black people to use them as fodder to back them up off of him and to back them off about it. He went to pointing to something about black Americans. And this is something I just want you to understand what this guy's doing, okay? They're like, this guy's great, he's amazing. No, this is not amazing. This is them using black people to help Biden. One more time, and then I'm going to produce my receipts, okay? So hang tight. One more time, just so you hear them.
But the Atlanta Journal and Constitution in Georgia, a key state for the president, came out in an editorial saying this wasn't a bad night. It was a confirmation of the worst fears of some of Biden's most ardent supporters. Age has finally caught up to him. It referred to excuses like what you're making as insulting to the American people. How do you respond to that?
I think that what we are watching, when you're watching a presidential performance, when you're watching a president who is able to lead us to now where we have record low unemployments, when we're able to watch how the black wealth inside of this country since the pandemic has risen by 60%.
Okay. Here's the deal on this, because whenever I hear them, I've heard this said before, but I never had an opportunity to do this live, guys. So check this out. Yes, he's right. Median black wealth increased from 27.9 to 44.8. This is significant growth. It's attributed to various factors. Housing equity. Your house may have appreciated due to the rise in stocks, the rises in these other corporate gains and other corporate assets. Your assets may have increased. So assets are corporate gains on your stock prices. That's when they talk about how great the economy's doing. So if you own a home, if you're one of the baby boomers, for instance, and you own property, that may have increased in value. That's what they're talking about. But guess what that means? There was nothing done specifically for black people to help their wealth go up. Everyone else's wealth went up the same amount. In fact, Asians and white Americans' wealth went up more. The wealth gap widened. We didn't gain ground. We lost ground because it wasn't an increase for black people's houses and nobody else's houses. White Americans and Asian Americans have more expensive houses and they have more stocks and investments. So when we got a bump, they got a bigger bump because they have more to bump with. That makes sense? The increase in black wealth is a positive development, but it's also crucial to understand that wealth accumulation for black households did not keep pace with other races. And the overall wealth gap remains substantial. For every $100 in wealth held by white households, black households hold about $15. This disparity highlights the ongoing challenges, blah, 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 blah. So what Wes Moore did here is what I've been saying. It's one of my main reasons for being such a critic of the Democrats, man. This is why. So when I get the occasional dum-dum who says, Tim Black, you're a sellout. You're a sellout, Tim Black. Or I get the occasional dum-dum that's like, man, you ain't nothing but Cloud. You ain't nothing but Tim Scott, man. Well, brothers on age, man, you ain't nothing but Tim Scott, man. You a soon. You a moon. That's what you is. This is why I get upset, man. This is why I get so, you know what I'm saying, ticked off, right? Because they use us. They lie. They say, oh, you did so great. Not saying everybody else did greater. And they don't want to shore that up. They just want the talking point to say, we help the poor people. We help the poor blacks. But everybody else did better than us. And they don't want to correct that. And if you never want to correct that, the least we could do is not vote for you. The least we could do is demand that you do and then say, hey, well, maybe we ain't got to vote for you. And that's not selling out. That is selling in. That's fighting. That's standing up, man. It's the opposite of selling out. What Wes Moore did here is sell us out for Joe Biden and for himself to defend his boss, the boss of his party. He said black people are doing better. She didn't fact check them. She didn't say, hey, hold on a second. Everybody's prices, if you had stocks, all stocks went up. That's not average. Most Black Americans don't have a bunch of stocks. That's why Earn Your Leisure is doing so well on YouTube. Because it's like Black guys talking about stocks. Less than 2% of stock professionals are Black Americans. So EYL is doing well because they're new to an industry, bringing it to a different demographic, man. The Wall Street Trapper is doing so well because it's like breaking new ground, man. He's like the first guy learning how to moonwalk. Y'all not with me, man. Y'all hear what I'm saying? So I'm exposing this nonsense for what it is. Nonsense. Okay.